invite you into the kitchen with me. We're going to be making a delicious bruschetta, or if we want to get very Italian, we can bruschetta. But it's a delicious open-faced sandwich. It's delightful to serve at parties if you want to have it as a sweet appetizer, but I love it as a fast lunch, and it's a really great thing to do if you have been gardening this year and you have all of these tomatoes still coming in, these end-of-season tomatoes. It's a great way to make use of them and eat them up, but make it feel a little bit more special than maybe some of the ways that you've been using them. To make this, it's very simple and easy. You need a delicious bread, a ciabatta bread, you could use a baguette bread, you could use just an Italian herbs and cheese bread, just some kind of nice, somewhat crusty bread that's going to hold its own when it's sliced. Then you're going to need, of course, some of those tomatoes, and I like to get, when we're at Walmart or Costco, we always find those beautiful heirloom tomatoes. I'm not gardening at the moment, but my neighbor has been gardening wonderfully, and he's been very kind in sharing some of the bounty of his garden. And so we also have some wonderful homegrown tomatoes that we're going to use as well. So your favorite kind of tomato, and then of course some mozzarella cheese, some olive oil, and some basil, our friend basil. So these are very simple ingredients that can come together. This may be something you make all the time. I'm gonna show you a couple of tips on how to make it, spruce it up just a little bit, and of course just how to make it easy. So let's jump right in. The first thing you wanna do is you wanna get your bread and you wanna slice it. Again, you don't wanna slice your bread too thick. If you slice it really thick like this, you're just gonna have these big chunks. But we wanna slice it just nice. I want to say, what is that? Maybe ½ an inch or so. And it's okay, when you're cutting these ciabatta breads, you're going to have little holes in it, things like that. That's totally okay, except that you want to make sure the holes aren't too big, because then obviously your toppings are going to fall through. So once you slice your bread, you want to take it, and I'm going to show you a couple easy tricks to really jazz up the flavor here. Because you could totally just take this, pop it in the toaster, but it's not going to be as delicious as it could be. So what I like to do is take a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to pour it right on this dish, and then I'm going to take a little bit of salt, and I'm just going to grind it right in there. When you go to fancy Italian restaurants, well, maybe not super fancy, but still, they always bring out the nice bread and the oil and with the herbs, and so this is kind of like a quick homemade version of that. Take your olive oil and your salt, and you want a brush or something for this. You could also dip it in there, but that might make it a little too heavy on there. And I'm just going to lightly brush this on the bread, and then I'm going to take a clove of garlic. A little bit of garlic greatly enhances the flavor, but too much and it's going to just be overpowering. So to avoid getting too crazy with it, because if I start mincing this garlic, it's just going to be too heavy on there. So I'm going to take this clove of garlic, and if you notice, it still has the skin on it, right? The wrapper. This is a really easy way to get that off. You're going to take the whole thing, and you're going to take a knife that has a nice wide base like this, and we're going to just put the knife right over it. I'm going to take the heel of my hand and press down. Hear that satisfying crack sound? And look. Now the wrapper is going to just poof, come right off, easy peasy. And bonus, my garlic is now starting to release this wonderful oil that's in it. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to rub it on the face of the bread, just like that. And it's going to give me just enough of the nice garlic flavor. It's kind of the essence of the garlic without overpowering the dish. So you want to get all of these ready, and then we're just going to pop it in the toaster oven just for a couple of minutes. You want it to get a nice light golden color. I have these beautiful slices here, all ready to go. And so now they're ready to be dressed up. See, I told you, this is so easy. You can put this together for yourself for a quick, delicious lunch and make yourself feel fancy when you're just at home. So I'm going to take a couple of tomatoes and a nice sharp knife, and I'm just going to slice these. So we're going to get a few of these and lay these on here. So take a piece and look, just pop a few on there. And then we're going to take some mozzarella. Now again, you can use the big pieces of mozzarella like this, or even the little tiny ones. It's really whichever you prefer, whatever you can most easily get your hands on, because it really doesn't matter. And we're just gonna slice that up into little bite-sized pieces. And if these pieces are still a little too big for you, you can even cut these in half. And we're just going to pop these on there. I love cheese. I like to say I ate my way across Europe, just eating cheese plates everywhere I went. It's one of my favorite things. And then of course, the final touch to a good bruschetta dish is to take your basil leaves, because that's our third element. Now, when working with basil leaves, what I like to do is I like to take my leaves, peel them off the plant, give them a quick rinse, and dry them off with a paper towel. And then I'm gonna take these and I'm going to roll them. So let me get this out of the way. And I am just going to roll these little leaves like this. And you can either take a knife like this one and just slice, slice, slice. Or you can also take a pair of kitchen shears, which this is so easy, and you can lay it, just go right over your dish, and you get these beautiful ribbons. And if they're falling in chunks like that, you just peel them apart real quick, and you have these perfect size ribbons for your dish. Again, just like that. And then for your final step, you can just drizzle a little bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil on it. I also like to do either a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and then sometimes, because that just really adds, that just adds a really nice savory flavor. But if you want to make it a tiny bit sweeter, it's delicious if you drizzle a little bit of honey on there. If you have fresh figs that are just coming into season, you can slice those on there. That adds a really beautiful depth of flavor to it. And I just recently discovered at our local Walmart this uncured bacon jam, which is like now my favorite condiment ever. And that's really delicious as a base on bruschetta like this as well. So I hope this inspires you to use your last minute summer tomatoes in a fresh new way that is so easy. It's perfect for weekday lunches, but it's fancy enough that you can totally serve this to guests if they're coming over as well too. So thanks for joining me in the kitchen.